Hello, I'm doing the video presentation for my project. Um, this is Hunter. So you can see that my design is fairly simple. The handle is the whole design is fairly similar to pliers or other similar machines in that aspect. The biggest difference is that with those, usually the blades are very close to the fulcrum or the rotating section of the device. But with this one, the reason why I designed this is because I do a lot of 3D printing for miniatures, for tabletop games and stuff like that. And there are sections in between armor or in the mouth of creatures that are very difficult to reach with other cutting or trimming devices. So that is why I designed this one with very long blades with towards the end it's very thin so that it can get into tighter spots and cut them away without damaging the actual miniatures design. So for the manufacturing process for this one, I went with punching and forming because it's a fairly cheap manufacturing process and it makes it very easy to mass produce. And the material I went with was a fairly simple uh, steel um, steel sheet because it needs to be durable, but unlike other pliers, it doesn't have to be extremely strong because it's not trying to cut through wires or hold something that is very strong. This is just trying to cut through 3D printer plastic or resin, so it doesn't have to be the strongest material. Um, Here you can see that the handles are fairly thick. Uh, if I was to manufacture this for real, I would thin these down just so that, just because in real life they would have a sleeve cover that goes onto it with a grip, um, and that's the only reason why I made them this big is to accommodate for pricing and get a size about right. So it's slightly more expensive for this design than the actual design that would actually be made. So here you can see that the first part of the blades are long and they're pretty thick. These are designed to cut larger bits of plastic or larger quantities of plastic um, with pretty uh, pretty easily. And then these smaller pieces are to get into tighter places and reach around little corners to get in there and cut away uh, supports that are in very inconvenient spots. With the sustainability, since it is working with fairly soft and easily breakable material, the life expectancy is pretty long, especially because it's using such a durable material. And the biggest environmental consequence with it is that the material is a metal that takes it's the material does the most amount of damage to environmental uh, sustainability, but it's not much. Uh, it's just significantly higher compared to like transportation or your cost per part, stuff like that. Just because cost for transportation, it's so small because you can fit thousands of these on a truck and drive that around. So impact per part is very small. Um, some of the designs that I started off with were this piece here was going to have a little hinge on it so that you can adjust the different angles so you can get into some other parts. The only problem that I saw with that was that if it didn't have some kind of locking mechanism, it would bend while you're trying to cut, and you risk cutting into the actual miniature. So that's why I went with a fixed angle. If I was to do this again, I would probably make the angle more prominent so they can get into even tighter spaces. So that is about it. My inspiration for this design, though, was based on pliers and some surgical equipment that are curved so that they can get into places where the doctor cannot particularly see clearly, or that is difficult to get in with a straight instrument. So that is where the inspiration of the curved blade came in. But yeah, that's all that I have. So thank you.